What is going on, everybody, man? King Recon here, and welcome to part 2 of the chapter 1033 Afterthoughts. That's just how good this chapter was, man. I had to give it to the first part, dedicated, of course, to Zoro, his character, what this means for his character, the potential possibilities for Zoro versus King, and all that stuff, man. I loved it. It reminded me so much about why I love Zoro as a character, so I had to dedicate part 1 specifically to just Zoro. Today we're going to be talking about a specific part of the chapter where Sanji and Queen. Yo, I'm telling you right now, if Queen had his own manga, or if Queen was the main character of One Piece, we would have figured out what the One Piece is in chapter 1. I mean, the dude is just giving us information upon information upon information upon information. Every time we cut to Queen, this man's giving us some reveal. It's like, yo, Queen, relax, man. Your mouth, you're running it too much. I love it. Keep running it. Keep running it. By the time we finish this fight, we're going to find out if all this stuff we're going to be talking about is true. Because, man, does this guy know. And he loves talking about what he knows. But that's why we love Queen. That's why we love my boy Queen. With his little zoom dance and whatnot. But in this week's Afterthoughts Part 2, I want to talk about the Lunarians. And I received 2 comments that made me say, you know what, I have to split this into a separate video. Because it is just... it's interesting to think about. As y'all know, I've been on Team Sanji's a Lunarian since chapter 1023, I believe that was. We first got the indications to that and whatnot, the implications for that for the future. Once we found out what Lunarians are, and once we saw that it's King, and that's his race, the supposed final individual, the last survivor of his race, and, you know, all of us trying to explain what Diablo Jambe is, and Sanji, I was able to produce fire, and, you know, a lot of things started coming to mind. And so, I'm still on team Sanji potential Lunarian, especially after what Queen said in this week's chapter, where he basically told Sanji to go out and seek the answer for himself. Like, you can find it if you look far within. That tells me that if he looks within his own DNA, if he looks within his own past, within his own ancestors or whatnot, like, he can find this answer. So I don't know if it's that exactly or if it's literally just him telling him to go find the answer. You know how One Piece usually does that. They leave characters to come up with their own decision, you know, the freedom of choice. Queen is like, yo, you have the freedom to go out and seek these answers. Go out and do so. And so when Sanji defeats Queen, I don't know if it'll be Queen. At this point, it could end up being Queen that gives him these answers. But if it's not Queen, it looks like we'll be receiving these answers at some point in time within this arc. Now, specifically, I want to talk about, in this week's chapter, the 2 comments that I received that I just thought were very fascinating in regards to the Lunarians, God Valley, and the fact that Lunarians can survive in any type of environment. So let's go ahead and talk about that first comment here. The first comment comes in from Rican. Shout out to Rican, the homie. Says, truly amazing chapter. Couldn't agree more. Also, when Queen says the Lunarians could survive in any environment, does that mean they could survive in space? This actually got me thinking a lot, man. This got me thinking where I was like, yo, Rican's spitting facts. He's spitting facts. And so maybe they really are the moon people that migrated to the Red Line, which is what we were talking about that week. Whenever that was initially revealed to us. Now, here's the thing, right? In regards to them being able to survive in any environment, if King's race, if the Lunarians truly do not have to wear some type of spacesuit like the Celestial Dragons have, that will allow them to breathe in space, then dude, man. We look back to that chapter 370 color spread, or the cover page with NL and the Sky Pirates, just that entire cover page in general. You see how some of them, they don't require a spacesuit to breathe up on the moon. So it's like, yo, Lunarians, I mean, it's a possibility. We know we see individuals that do not need it to breathe up there. And so it's most certainly a possibility. And it's like, man, dude, so now, because when I initially saw that comment, I was like, of course, if you could survive in any environment being a Lunarian, it's a given. I mean, you could literally, because your abilities are based on fire, you'll always be at a good body temperature. You could go into the coldest part of the One Piece world and you'll be good, because you can always keep yourself within normal body temperature. And whether you're in the hottest of lavas. You can keep yourself at normal body temperature because of the way that they produce flames, and the flames are an integral part of their system. At least that's the way that I see it, right? So I was like, maybe that's what they're talking about. When I saw this comment, I was like, holy flagnards. If we're looking big picture, and if we truly are going to space, this is an adventure series. If we ever do end up going to the moon, which was one of the biggest theories out there, Laugh Tale being on the moon and whatnot, it's a really awesome theory. And if there's any type of, lead into something like that happening, then what better way than to start planting the seeds now? You know what I'm saying? Okay, Lunarians can breathe in space without a spacesuit. And how cool would it be if we get Sanji, if he truly is a Lunarian, we get that revelation where he's in space, somebody kicks off his spacesuit, and Sanji's still breathing. He's like, yo, what's y'all's problem? I'm good. Everybody's like, what? And Sanji's like, yeah, man, I'm good. I don't need no spacesuit. Who needs that? And it's like, okay, you know what? That would be dope, and that would be a really cool way to show it. Like, oh snap, he's a Lunarian or whatever. But that's just headcanon. That's the hype of Sanji. That's the hype of my boy, Mr. Burgundy and Black. But this idea of them being able to breathe in space just fascinates me. It really does, because it goes, like I said, far above just being able to survive in an environment on the Earth itself. It's like, yo, you have these individuals that can breathe up in space, then it changes the game. Who wouldn't see these individuals as like these higher beings, right? So I do wonder if, especially going back to the Nika comment. So when I first saw this week's chapter, during the reaction, I saw them, how they're known as gods and whatnot. First thing that came to mind was Nika, because I was like, okay, sun god Nika. Obviously, there's some sort of flames have to be a part of this in some way, shape, or form. We know that King is very well versed in the flames. Not only does he spit fire with his bars and his dialogue, but the dude legit, when Zoro went in to go cut him with the EI adjective Shishi Son Son, flames were what was repairing that. You know what I mean? So it kind of had like that Logia type of feel to it, like the Meta Meta no Mi type of feel to it. It's insane. So if you have something like that, of course, especially back when they had no idea what fruits are. I don't know what the technology was back in Nika's days. I don't know. But if it's like Wano and they did not know anything and it's a sorcery to them, it's like, oh, whoa, flames? How is this guy doing this? Of course they would see. And then my mans can breathe in space? Like, hold on. So, on that same line of thought, let's go over to the other comment. Now, I received this comment from Shiamano. Now, Shiamano comes in and says, I've got two questions in mind right now. Did Kaido and King meet at God Valley? I love this question. And was Kozaburo in rocks? So, the idea of Kozaburo and being in rocks is that it was established that 50 years ago, a pirate established and founded Shimotsuki village. So it has to be Kozaburo at this point, right? And being known as a pirate. And so what other pirate group was running rampant at that point in time? Rocks. It makes a lot of sense. I could most certainly see that being the case. Especially with the hype on Rox's crew and whatnot. The connections to Rox's crew, what better way than to have that be the case? I think that's most certainly a possibility. Now, when we go over towards the first question, I have been trying to think about what is going to connect God Valley to all of this. And of course, we've talked about it in many different afterthoughts at this point. Every time we get some sort of little indication on the God Valley, because I just can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see Roger and Garp going ham against Rock's Pirates. That's just a dream. All of us are so hyped for that some of us even wanted that to be the movie. You know what I mean? Like, this is something the entire fandom cannot wait to see. From a hype standpoint, of course, but also from a lore standpoint. Celestial dragons, being able to see what was truly happening back then, seeing the morality scale being shifted in certain ways. What kind of person was Rox? Like, so many different things we'd be able to see from that. What is the favor that Big Mom speaks of whenever she gave him the fruit that he currently has with the koi fish? It's like, did that happen there? Did that happen there? Did the betrayal that Kaido always hints of, did that also happen there? Like, there's so many different things that this God Valley incident is potentially behind, pushing the motivations of so many of these characters that we know. And so now, when this question is presented, it just raises my mind. Because listen, if they were truly known as these godly figures, then what better way than for the land of the Lunarians to be known as God Valley? And then here's the thing. This is the thing that fascinates me the most. Is if Roger and Garp decided to protect the celestial dragons instead of protecting the Lunarians, or instead of protecting the last survivor of the Lunarian, or Kaido in the midst of that mission, maybe he wasn't there in that initial battle. Let's just say, we're gonna go out here fan fiction, right? Let's just say Roger and Garp were fighting against Rocks, Whitebeard, Big Mom, whatever, and Kaido went off on his own for a second because something caught his eye, and what he actually found was King up there on God Valley, right? So he was able to go up and like swim and be like, hold up, this individual, he's something special. I can do something with him. And King sees the ambition within Kaido. It's like, hold up, I got something here. Maybe after the betrayal, maybe Kaido was the one that did the betrayal. Whatever happened, he was like, yo, I can do something with this. And so he decided to take King with him and go out and establish the Beast Pirates and whatnot. Like and of course after Big Mom gave him that fruit, if that did happen over there in that same place. And so the potential possibilities of King being from this place now opens the door for either us finding out more about God Valley as a whole through King's eyes or through Kaido's eyes. So whenever we see Kaido's flashback and we get to see how he established his crew, right? In the same way we got that flashback with Big Mom back in Whole Cake Island, seeing how she came to establish her crew members and whatnot and bring them aboard. So I'm almost 100% sure we're going to get that for Kaido too. And so we're probably going to get that there. But if we get it before then, it's going to be through King's eyes. And what he said in this week's chapter about also having kingly ambitions really like hit home for me, where it made me think about what King's entire purpose is, right? And if he truly is from this place, and maybe he's not dead set on revenge, maybe he's dead set on trying to understand, maybe he's dead set on truly trying to conquer the world by finding the One Piece and just sticking it to the world government. Like, yo, y'all left me in the dust. Maybe he really does hate the Celestial Dragons, not only for wiping out his entire race, but for also, causing the Marines and the pirates to come together to protect them, rather than the last surviving Lunarian. I mean, that's just fan fiction, but just imagine what that would do to your psyche if that was the case, right? Like King, I could only imagine that's why King joined Kaido. It's like, hold on, man, you have the ability, you have the strength to be able to actually do this. Everyone else is gone. Rocks is gone. I believe in you more than I do the others. The others, they don't have that ambition. Big Mom has the ambition of wanting to bring the entire world together in a utopia type of state in her island. Whitebeard wants to create a family, but you want to be the strongest. I want to join you. So maybe that's what that is. Maybe that truly is the connection that King has to Kaido, and it's honestly extremely fascinating. I'm really, really excited for more to come from that. Like, there's a lot of different scenarios that can come from that in terms of King showcasing just how much Kaido means to him in this battle against Zoro. And so I loved these two comments, man. And I was like, you know what? This is just something that I cannot wait to see. If this truly is going to end up being the King being from God Valley because of the whole Lunarians, them being considered as these godly figures, like if this is all connecting to bringing more internal motivation for King, us seeing truly what King has been trying to do this entire time while under Kaido, why he joined Kaido, and we get all those little bits and pieces to God Valley and potentially seeing the incident through King's eyes. Oh man, I'm all for it. I'm super, super stoked. A lot of different possibilities, but I just wanted to talk about this because these two comments were excellent. And there was a lot of comments like this, but these two comments just really got the brain moving in terms of wanting to think about, okay, King, let's think about this for a sec. These individuals have this ability to survive in any environment. How much would, these Celestial Dragons who see themselves as these figures higher than anyone, and yet the one thing they can't do, because you see, the Lunarians are kind of like the fishmen, but in the sky. Because whereas the fishmen, they have the ability to breathe underwater, Lunarians, if this is true, they can breathe in space. And so, if you're the Celestial Dragons, of course you would hate both the fishmen and the Lunarians. Why wouldn't you? And why wouldn't you want to eradicate both of them? They want to be seen as the highest of beings. And so it makes a lot of sense after putting two and two together, especially after this week's chapter. So shout out to those comments. Excellent comments, man. And just a lot of food for thought in this week in regards to the afterthoughts. We got hype piece, we got character piece, and we got lore piece all in one chapter. I mean, it was a spectacular chapter, man. But let me know what y'all have to say about this in the comment section down below. I look forward to reading more about the potential Lunarian possibilities, especially if we hear it from Queen within here. I do wonder how much he knows and why it is that he knows so much, right? If Sanji is the one that finds it out himself, then that will be more of an implication that he himself is also a Lunarian. But if we get it from King's perspective, just showcasing what his ambitions are and why he's doing all of this, it's just going to amplify that battle with Zoro more and more. So exciting stuff is incoming. Cannot wait to find out more. But until next time, you have an awesome sauce of a day. A lot of food for thought, man. I'm telling you, every single week it's either this is moving or both. And this week was just one of those exceptional and special weeks where both were moving, man. I mean, a lot of stuff to think about and a lot of stuff to just be like, man, what an amazing chapter. But look forward to the next one. December, we're starting off with a bang, man. And there's no break. So we're getting another chapter this upcoming week. So hopefully we get a continuation in either Sanji or Zoro's fights to see if we get any type of answers to this whole Lunarian thing. But even if we don't, exciting stuff is incoming. I'll see y'all next time. One Piece greatness. This has been the Afterthoughts, man. You know it's a good week when there's 2 Afterthoughts, bro.